The Last Stand. Captain Maya Torres stood motionless on the bridge of the U.S. Phoenix, her eyes fixed on the holographic display showing thousands of enemy signatures approaching Earth. The Nexeri Empire's warships moved in perfect geometric formations, their crystalline hulls reflecting starlight like a sea of diamonds. Having decimated humanity's outer colonies, they now sought to claim Earth itself. Status report, Maya commanded, her voice steady despite the weight of responsibility pressing down on her shoulders. The Phoenix represented humanity's last, best hope, an experimental vessel equipped with technology that even its own crew didn't fully understand. Quantum phase drive operating at optimal levels, Captain. Lieutenant Sarah Chen reported from her station. The theoretical models suggest we can sustain full combat operations for approximately 6 hours. She paused, then added quietly, assuming the technology works as designed. Commander James Rodriguez, Maya's first officer, stepped closer to the tactical display. Latest count shows 2,743 Nexeri vessels incoming. Their energy signatures suggest they've brought their entire third fleet. He didn't need to state the obvious, that humanity had never survived an engagement with even a fraction of such forces. Maya nodded, studying the enemy formation. The Nexeri were methodical, predictable in their arrogance. They believed their technological superiority made them invincible, having never encountered a species that could truly challenge them in their 1,000-year expansion across the galaxy. Dr. Patel, are you receiving this telemetry? Maya asked, addressing the quantum physicist who had helped develop the Phoenix's revolutionary systems. Crystal clear, Captain. Dr. Aisha Patel's voice came through the bridge speakers from her lab deep within the ship. The Nexeri energy signatures are exactly what we theorized. Their quantum-locked crystalline technology is powerful, but it's also their weakness. They've never conceived that another species could manipulate quantum fields at their level. Maya allowed herself a small smile. The Nexeri's greatest strength, their absolute certainty in their own superiority, would prove their undoing. The Phoenix wasn't just a warship. It was a proof of concept, demonstrating humanity's ability to innovate in ways the Nexeri couldn't imagine. Incoming transmission from Nexeri Command, Lieutenant Chen announced. On screen, Maya ordered, straightening her uniform. The holographic image of Fleet Commander Vextar materialized on the bridge, his crystalline form pulsing with patterns of light that the xenologists said indicated supreme confidence. Your species continues to defy the natural order. The alien's translated voice resonated through the bridge. One ship against our might. This is not courage. This is madness. Maya met the alien commander's gaze steadily. Perhaps you should consider why we seem so confident, Commander. Humanity has survived every threat we've ever faced. We adapt. We evolve. We overcome. You have never faced the Nexeri Empire. Vextar responded. Your species is young, primitive. You will be preserved in our archives as an example of the futility of resistance. We're not interested in being a museum exhibit, Maya replied. We're interested in survival, and we're very, very good at it. The transmission cut off abruptly. Maya turned to her crew, seeing determination in every face. These men and women represented the best of humanity, scientists, soldiers, and explorers who had volunteered for what might well be a suicide mission. Battle stations, she ordered. Dr. Patel, initiate quantum phase protocols. Lieutenant Chen, plot an intercept course through the center of their formation. Commander Rodriguez, ready all defensive systems. The bridge came alive with activity as the crew prepared for battle. The Phoenix's experimental quantum drive hummed to life, creating vibrations that seemed to exist in multiple dimensions at once. Captain, Rodriguez spoke softly beside her. If this doesn't work, it will work. Maya cut him off. Because it has to. Because humanity has never accepted defeat, no matter the odds. She activated the ship-wide comm. All hands, this is the captain. In a few minutes, we're going to show the Nexeri Empire Why you should never underestimate human ingenuity. Every person on this ship represents the best of what humanity can achieve. Together, we're about to rewrite the rules of warfare. The Phoenix accelerated toward the massive enemy fleet, its quantum phase drive beginning to alter the very fabric of space around the ship. The Nexary vessels adjusted their formation, preparing to unleash enough firepower to destroy a small moon. But Maya knew something they didn't. The Phoenix wasn't just humanity's last line of defense. It was a revolution in physical form, a ship that could manipulate quantum fields in ways the Nexary, for all their advanced technology, had never imagined possible. Multiple enemy weapon signatures detected, Chen reported. They're charging their primary weapons. Maya settled into her command chair, a fierce gleam in her eyes. Let them come. It's time to show the galaxy what humanity is truly capable of. The space between the ships erupted in a dazzling display of energy as the Nexary opened fire, unaware that they were about to witness something unprecedented in the history of space warfare. The Phoenix was about to demonstrate why humanity's greatest strength had always been its ability to achieve the impossible. Impossible odds. The void between Earth and the Nexary Armada erupted in a cascade of energy as thousands of crystalline warships opened fire simultaneously. Their combined barrage would have vaporized any conventional vessel instantly. But the U.S. Phoenix was anything but conventional. Quantum phase field at maximum, Lieutenant Chen called out, her fingers dancing across her console as she fine-tuned the experimental defense system. Energy signatures are within predicted parameters. The incoming fire didn't impact the Phoenix's hull. Instead, it seemed to flow around the ship like water around a stone, creating mesmerizing patterns in the quantum field that Dr. Patel had theorized, but never seen at this scale. Extraordinary. Dr. Patel's voice crackled through the bridge speakers. The Nexary weapons are exactly what we predicted. Quantum-locked energy beams that operate on fixed dimensional frequencies. They never imagined someone could phase shift between those frequencies. Captain Maya Torres watched as the enemy's most powerful weapons proved completely ineffective against their single ship. Status of the phase drive. Operating at 94% efficiency, Commander Rodriguez reported. The system is actually performing better than our simulations suggested. Dr. Patel's theories about quantum resonance were spot on. The Nexary fleet's perfect formation wavered for the first time in their 1,000-year history of warfare. Their sensors would be telling them something impossible, that their target simply didn't exist in the same quantum state as their weapons. They're adapting, Chen warned. Multiple ships adjusting their weapon frequencies. They're trying to find our phase frequency. Maya smiled grimly. That's the beauty of it. We don't have one. Dr. Patel, would you like to explain to our friends what they're up against? Initiating quantum scan protocols, Dr. Patel responded. As she spoke, the Phoenix's sensors began mapping the entire Nexary fleet at the quantum level. Their technology is remarkable. Each ship is essentially a massive quantum computer, with their crystalline hulls serving as both processor and weapon platform. But they're locked into predictable patterns. They can't conceive of true quantum fluidity. The Nexary launched another coordinated attack, this time with their weapons cycling through different frequencies. But the Phoenix's phase field adapted faster than they could adjust, its quantum state shifting millions of times per second in patterns that appeared random but were actually calculated responses to the enemy's attacks. They're launching fighters, Rodriguez announced. Looks like they're hoping smaller craft might be able to penetrate our defenses. Hundreds of crystalline interceptors poured from the larger ships, their formations creating complex geometric patterns in space. But as they approached the Phoenix, something unexpected happened. The fighters closest to the ship's quantum field began to vibrate, their crystalline structures resonating with frequencies they were never designed to handle. Captain, Dr. Patel's voice held a note of excitement. The fighters' quantum matrices are destabilizing. Our phase field is affecting their structural integrity. Maya leaned forward in her command chair. Can we weaponize that effect? Better than that. Dr. Patel replied. We can control it. Their quantum lock technology is actually incredibly vulnerable to targeted phase shifting. We could potentially disable their ships without destroying them. The bridge crew watched in amazement as the nearest Nexari fighters began to drift, their crystal hulls clouding over as their quantum matrices fell into chaos. Not a single shot had been fired, but dozens of enemy craft were already combat ineffective. Incoming transmission, Chen reported. The Nexari command ship. Fleet Commander Vextar's holographic form appeared once again, but the confident patterns in his crystalline body had been replaced by erratic pulses of light that suggested agitation or even fear. What have you done? This defies all known laws of physics. No, Maya countered. It defies your understanding of physics. Humanity has learned to see beyond fixed patterns, beyond what you think is possible. This is just the beginning. The transmission cut off abruptly as the Nexari fleet began to reform, adopting a new formation that their tactical computers must have calculated would be more effective against this unexpected threat. But Maya knew they were still thinking in straight lines, in predictable patterns that the Phoenix's quantum systems could read and counter before they even executed their plans. Dr. Patel, Maya called out, prepare to demonstrate the offensive capabilities of our phase technology. It's time to show them that humanity isn't just good at defending. We're pretty creative when it comes to fighting back too. The Phoenix's quantum drive hummed with power as it prepared to launch its first active attack against the Nexari fleet. The real battle was about to begin, and the enemy was about to learn that their technological superiority wasn't as absolute as they had believed. All hands, Maya announced shipwide, prepare for tactical maneuvers. We're about to rewrite everything the Nexari think they know about warfare. Let's show them why humanity has survived every challenge we've ever faced, because we never stop innovating, never stop pushing the boundaries of what's possible. The Phoenix accelerated toward the heart of the enemy fleet, its quantum field rippling with potential energy. The Nexari were about to discover that their greatest nightmare wasn't facing a superior force. It was facing a species that could turn their own technological advantages against them in ways they never imagined possible. Turn of the tide. The Phoenix dove into the heart of the Nexari fleet, its quantum phase field leaving trails of distorted space in its wake. Enemy ships scattered before it like startled fish, their perfect formation dissolving into chaos as they tried to adapt to a threat unlike anything they'd encountered in their millennium of space warfare. Multiple targeting solutions acquired, Commander Rodriguez reported, his hand steady on the tactical controls. The quantum scanners have mapped the resonance frequencies of every ship within range. Dr. Patel's voice came through with barely contained excitement. Captain, we're ready to initiate the quantum cascade. But you should know, this isn't just about disrupting their ships. What we're about to do could fundamentally alter their entire technological paradigm. Maya understood the implications. The Nexari had built their empire on the assumption that their quantum lock technology was unbeatable. They were about to learn otherwise. Proceed with the attack, Doctor. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do for an enemy is show them their own limitations. The Phoenix's quantum drive pulsed, sending out waves of precisely calibrated energy. Unlike conventional weapons, these pulses didn't seek to destroy. Instead, they interfered with the very quantum matrices that made Nexari technology possible. Effects spreading through their fleet. Chen reported, watching as ship after ship began to experience cascade failures. Their quantum locks are failing. They're losing coherence across all systems. The results exceeded even Dr. Patel's optimistic predictions. Nexari vessels began to drift, their crystalline hulls clouding over as their carefully maintained quantum states collapsed into chaos. But something else was happening too, something unexpected. Captain, Chen called out, her voice tight with surprise. I'm detecting unusual energy patterns from the disabled ships. It's as if their quantum matrices are trying to reorganize themselves into new configurations. Dr. Patel's rapid typing could be heard over the comm. Fascinating. The Nexari ships aren't just failing, they're adapting. Their quantum-locked systems are being forced to evolve, to find new ways of functioning. This is exactly what we theorize might happen, but to see it on this scale. The bridge crew watched in amazement as the affected Nexari ships began to pulse with new patterns of light, their crystalline structures reorganizing into forms that defied their original design constraints. It wasn't destruction, it was transformation. Multiple incoming transmissions, Rodriguez announced. Not just from their command ship. Individual captains are trying to contact us directly. Maya raised an eyebrow. This was unprecedented. The Nexari hierarchy was absolute. No subordinate commander would dare communicate without authorization. Put them through. All of them. The bridge filled with holographic projections of Nexari commanders, their crystalline forms showing signs of the quantum cascade's effects. But instead of anger or fear, many displayed patterns indicating intense curiosity and even excitement. Your weapon. One of them spoke, their translated voice carrying unusual harmonics. It forces change, evolution. Our ships, our very beings, we are experiencing states of quantum flux we never imagined possible. Another commander's form, pulsed with rapid color changes. For millennia, we believed quantum-locked states were the pinnacle of technological achievement. But you humans, you saw something we had forgotten. The power of uncertainty, of adaptation. Fleet Commander Vextar's image appeared larger than the others, but his usual authoritative presence was diminished. This is heresy, he declared, though his own crystalline form showed signs of the cascade's influence. Our technology is perfect, unchanging. Is it? Maya challenged. Look at your ships, Commander. They're not being destroyed. They're evolving. Just as humanity evolved, adapted, and survived every challenge we faced. The universe isn't static. Nothing truly alive can be. As if to emphasize her point, more Nexari ships began to display new energy signatures, their quantum matrices finding novel ways to function outside their original parameters. The Phoenix had done more than just disable an enemy fleet. It had catalyzed a technological and cultural revolution within the Nexari civilization itself. Dr. Patel, Maya called out, what exactly are we seeing here? Something remarkable, Captain. The physicist replied. Our quantum cascade didn't just disrupt their technology. It introduced chaos into their perfectly ordered systems. And in response, those systems are discovering new possibilities, new ways of existing. It's like watching a crystalline structure learn to dance. The implications were staggering. The Nexari had built their civilization on principles of perfect order and unchanging patterns. Now, faced with proof that change could lead to growth rather than destruction, their entire worldview was being challenged. Your species, one of the rebel commanders spoke, their form shifting through previously impossible configurations. You knew this would happen. Maya smiled. We hoped. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology or our weapons. It's our ability to embrace change, to see possibilities where others see only chaos. We didn't come here to destroy you. We came to show you there's another way. The space around the Phoenix, filled with shifting patterns of light, as more and more Nexari ships underwent their quantum evolution. It wasn't just a battle anymore. It was becoming a revolution, one that would reshape both civilizations in ways no one could have predicted. Breaking point. The vastness of space around Earth had become a canvas of light and transformation. Hundreds of Nexari ships pulsed with new quantum patterns, their crystalline structures refracting starlight in ways their builders had never intended. But the battle wasn't over. Fleet Commander Vextar had rallied his loyal forces, creating a divide within the massive armada. Status report. Maya ordered, watching as the Nexari fleet split into two distinct formations. 843 ships showing signs of quantum evolution. Chen reported. They're moving to defensive positions around us. The remaining fleet. She paused, double-checking her readings. Approximately 1,900 ships are maintaining their original quantum configurations. They're rallying around Vextar's command ship. Dr. Patel's voice held a note of concern. Captain, the ships that haven't undergone transformation are attempting to reinforce their quantum locks. They're trying to make themselves immune to our cascade effect. Maya nodded grimly. They're afraid. Change threatens everything they've built their society on. Sometimes the hardest part of evolution is accepting that it's necessary. The space between the two Nexari factions crackled with tension. Ships that had fought together for centuries now faced each other across an ideological divide that ran deeper than any military doctrine. Incoming transmission, Rodriguez announced. Multiple sources. The bridge filled with holographic projections once again. On one side stood Vextar, his crystalline form rigid and unchanged, surrounded by commanders who had rejected transformation. On the other, the rebel commanders displayed their new fluid quantum states proudly. This rebellion ends now, Vextar declared. You have been corrupted by human chaos. Your ships will be purged and reconfigured to proper patterns. One of the rebel commanders moved forward, their form shifting through complex patterns that would have been impossible hours ago. We have not been corrupted, Fleet Commander. We have been awakened. The humans didn't destroy our technology. They showed us its true potential. Look at yourselves. Vextar's translated voice carried harmonics of disgust. You've abandoned perfect order for this aberration. Perfect order, Maya interjected, is stagnation. The universe itself exists in a state of constant change. Even your crystalline technology, in its original form, was an innovation once. Someone had to imagine it, to see beyond what was known and dare to create something new. Her words seemed to resonate through quantum space itself. More Nexari ships began to pulse with uncertainty, their crews caught between millennia of tradition and the undeniable evidence of evolution's potential. Dr. Patel, Maya called out, what are you seeing in their quantum signatures? Something fascinating, Captain, the physicist replied. The transformed ships aren't just changing randomly. They're achieving quantum states that our models suggest are actually more efficient than their original configuration. They're not just different, they're better. This revelation sent ripples through both factions. Even some of Vextar's loyal ships began to show signs of quantum fluctuation, their rigid patterns wavering as their crews processed this information. You see, one of the rebel commanders addressed their former allies. The humans understood something we have forgotten. True strength doesn't come from refusing to change. It comes from having the courage to embrace new possibilities. The Phoenix hung in space between the two fleets, its quantum field humming quietly. Maya watched as more ships began to break away from Vextar's formation, their quantum matrices beginning the transformation process voluntarily. They're choosing to evolve, Rodriguez observed quietly. Not because we're forcing them, but because they want to. Maya nodded. That's always been humanity's real strength. Not that we can adapt, but that we can inspire others to see the value in adaptation. Vextar's command ship suddenly surged forward, its weapons charging. I will not allow this contamination to spread. The pattern must be preserved. But before he could fire, his own ship began to pulse with unexpected quantum fluctuations. His bridge crew, witnessing the transformation of their companions, had initiated the cascade effect from within. Fascinating, Dr. Pyle exclaimed. Their quantum evolution is becoming self-propagating. Each transformed ship is acting as a catalyst for others, creating a chain reaction of change throughout their fleet. The space around Earth had become a testament to the power of innovation. Where there had been a hostile armada bent on humanity's destruction, now there was a civilization in the process of revolutionary change. Captain, Chen called out, I'm receiving requests from multiple Nexari ships. They're asking for our help in understanding and controlling their new quantum states. Maya smiled. This was how humanity had always achieved its greatest victories, not by destroying enemies, but by turning them into allies. Dr. Patel, prepare to share our quantum research with our new friends. It's time to show the Nexari that cooperation can be even more powerful than conquest. The battle for Earth had become something else entirely, a pivotal moment in the evolution of two species. As Maya watched more Nexeri ships embrace transformation, she knew that the universe would never be quite the same again. Evolution. 6 months after the battle that changed two civilizations, the U.S. Phoenix orbited a remarkable sight. A joint human-Nexeri research station. The massive structure combined sleek human engineering with crystalline Nexeri architecture, its quantum field pulsing with the combined technological achievements of both species. Captain Maya Torres stood in her ship's observation deck, watching crews from both species working together on the station's outer hull. Human engineers in spacesuits moved alongside Nexeri in their crystalline forms, their different approaches to problems creating solutions neither species would have conceived alone. Quite a sight, isn't it? Dr. Patel said, joining her at the window. The physicist had become the lead researcher on human-Nexeri quantum integration, her theories now proven beyond any doubt. "If you told me 6 months ago that we'd be here," Maya replied, "I would have said it was impossible. Then again, that's kind of become our specialty." The station represented more than just scientific cooperation. It was a symbol of how completely both civilizations had transformed. The Nexeri, once rigid in their beliefs about technological perfection, had embraced change as a fundamental principle. Their ships now displayed ever-evolving quantum states, each finding new ways to exist in the universe. "Captain," Chen's voice came over the comm. "The Nexeri delegation is ready for the demonstration." Maya nodded to Dr. Patel. "Time to show them what we've achieved together." They made their way to the Phoenix's main conference room, now modified to accommodate both human and Nexeri physiology. Former Fleet Commander Vextar was there, though he now preferred the title of Chief Researcher. His crystalline form shimmered with complex patterns that would have been considered heretical in the old Nexeri Empire. "Captain Torres," Vextar greeted her, his translated voice carrying harmonics of excitement rather than its former rigid authority. "Dr. Patel, our research teams have achieved something remarkable." The room's holographic projectors activated, displaying a new ship design that combined human creativity with Nexeri quantum engineering. Its hull could shift between solid and crystalline states, adapting to any situation it encountered. "The Quantum Fusion Project," Dr. Patel explained, "represents the first true merger of our technologies. It doesn't just use human and Nexeri systems. It creates something entirely new." Commander Rodriguez, who had been overseeing the military aspects of the project, brought up the tactical specifications. "The ship can adapt to any threat, just like the Phoenix, but it can also evolve beyond those adaptations, learning and growing like the transformed Nexeri vessels." "Evolution through cooperation," Maya mused. "Exactly what we both needed." The changes weren't limited to technology. The Nexeri Empire had reformed itself into the Nexeri Collective, where change and adaptation were celebrated rather than feared. Their ships now explored the galaxy seeking new ideas rather than enforcing rigid patterns. "We were wrong about humanity," Vextar admitted, his form pulsing with colors that indicated deep reflection. "We saw your species' youth as a weakness, your constant change as a flaw. We failed to understand that this was your greatest strength." "And we learned from you too," Maya replied. "Your quantum technology, even in its original form, was remarkable. Together, we're achieving things neither of our species could have managed alone." The conference room filled with more holographic displays showing joint projects across human and Nexeri space. Research stations, defense platforms, and exploration vessels all displayed the new quantum fusion technology. But more importantly, they showed both species working together, each contributing their unique perspectives to solve universal challenges. "There's something else you should see," Dr. Patel said, bringing up a new display. "We've detected quantum signatures from other civilizations, some even more distant than the original Nexeri Empire. They're interesting." Maya understood the implications. Humanity and the Nexeri had proven that different species could not only coexist but evolve together. Their achievement would ripple across the galaxy, showing others that cooperation could be more powerful than conquest. The universe is vast, Vextar observed, his quantum matrix shifting through patterns that suggested both excitement and contemplation. Perhaps this is why we found each other, not to fight, but to prepare for even greater challenges ahead. Maya smiled, remembering the desperate battle that had started all this. The Phoenix had been built to save humanity, but it had done so much more. It had shown two civilizations that their differences weren't weaknesses but strengths, that evolution wasn't a threat but an opportunity. The next frontier, she said, looking at the displays of unexplored space, won't be conquered by either of us alone. But together. Together we can achieve things we haven't even imagined yet. As if in response, the quantum fields of both the Phoenix and the research station pulsed in harmony, their combined energy creating patterns of light that danced across the void. It was a reminder that the greatest adventures often begin not with conflict, but with the courage to see beyond it, to recognize that sometimes the most powerful force in the universe isn't the strength to stand alone, but the wisdom to stand together. Humanity had survived its greatest challenge not by overpowering an enemy, but by showing that enemy a better way. And in doing so, both species had evolved into something greater than either could have become alone. The stars beckoned, full of new mysteries and challenges, ready for exploration by a partnership that proved cooperation could be the most revolutionary force of all.